Let me tell you something that most people are too afraid to hear. Most people will work their entire lives, wake up tired, go to a job they hate, chase a paycheck that disappears every month, and then die with dreams still trapped inside them. Not because they weren't smart, not because they lacked talent, but because they thought exactly like everyone else. And if you think like everyone else, you will live like everyone else. Today, I'm going to tell you why most people will never be rich, and more importantly, how to make sure you are not one of them. This message is not comfortable. It's not motivational fluff. It's the truth. And the truth changes lives. 1. Most people choose comfort over growth. Let's start here. The biggest enemy of wealth is not poverty, it's comfort. Comfort is warm. Comfort feels safe. Comfort whispers, "You're doing okay." But comfort is a liar. Most people don't fail because life is hard. They fail because life becomes comfortable enough. They get a stable job, a predictable routine, a monthly salary, and suddenly the hunger disappears. They stop learning. They stop risking. They stop pushing. They trade their dreams for security and don't even realize the cost. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you were truly uncomfortable for the sake of your future? Because growth lives where comfort dies. 2. They are addicted to instant gratification. Rich people delay pleasure. Poor-minded people chase it. That's not an insult, that's a pattern. Most people want results now. They want fast money, easy success, overnight wealth. They want the reward without the sacrifice. So what do? They scroll instead of studying. They binge watch instead of building. They spend instead of investing. Every small choice feels harmless, but those small choices stack up, and one day they wake up broke, bitter, and confused. Success doesn't reward impatience. Wealth doesn't come to people who can't wait. If you can't control your impulses, money will never stay with you. 3. Most people think money is evil or not for them. This one is deadly. Ask someone why they're not rich, and you'll hear things like, "Money changes people. Rich people are greedy. I'm not lucky. I wasn't born into money." Let me be clear. Money doesn't change who you are. Money reveals who you are. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're selfish, it exposes it. Most people reject wealth mentally long before they reject it financially. They tell themselves stories that protect their ego. It's not meant for people like me. I don't need that much. But here's the truth. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you believe you deserve. And most people don't believe they deserve more. 4. They never learn how money actually works. School teaches you how to be a worker, not an owner. Nobody teaches you how to make money work for you, how assets create income, how leverage multiplies effort. So people grow up thinking work harder equals earn more. That's a lie. Hard work without strategy leads to exhaustion, not wealth. Most people trade time for money, the worst trade you can make, because time is limited, money is not. The rich don't work for money. They build systems that generate money. If your income stops when you stop working, you are one crisis away from financial disaster. 5. Most people surround themselves with limitation. Look around you. Your income is often the average of the people you spend the most time with, and most people never escape their environment. They listen to friends who say, "That won't work. Be realistic. Why take risks?" But let me tell you something powerful. Average people love to give advice that protects their own limitations. They don't hate you, they fear change. If you want uncommon results, you cannot live in common conversations. You need voices that challenge you, not comfort you. 6. They fear failure more than they desire freedom. This is the silent killer. Most people don't try not because they can't win, but because they're afraid to lose. They're afraid of looking stupid, being judged, failing publicly. So they never start. But here's the irony. By avoiding failure, they guarantee regret. Failure is feedback. Failure is tuition. Failure is part of the process. You don't avoid pain by playing small. You just delay it and make it permanent. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. 7. They wait for the right time. Let me expose this lie. There is no perfect moment. There is no ideal condition. There is no magic sign. Most people keep waiting. When I have more money, when I have more time, when I feel ready. Ready is a myth. Action creates readiness. And while they wait, time passes, opportunities disappear, and someone else takes the place they could have had. The future doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who move, even when they're afraid. Pause here because this is important. If this speech makes you uncomfortable, good. That means you're waking up. Because the truth is simple. Most people will never be rich because they never change the way they think, act, and choose. Why most people fail, to how a few rise above everyone else. This is where separation happens. This is where average ends and greatness begins. 9. Rich people think long-term. Most people think weekly. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, not just financially, but mentally. They think in weeks. They think in months. They think in bills. Rich-minded people think in years. They ask, what will this decision cost me in 5 years? What skill will pay me forever? What sacrifice today creates freedom tomorrow? That's why they can walk away from parties. That's why they can say no to distractions. That's why they look boring at first. But 5 years later, they're free, while others are still struggling. Wealth is built quietly, patiently, and consistently. 10. They understand that discipline beats motivation. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Most people wait to feel like working. Winners work, whether they feel like it or not. They don't rely on inspiration. They rely on systems, because motivation fades, but habits compound. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll live an inconsistent life, and inconsistent effort creates average results. Discipline is self-respect in action. 11. Most people want a rich life without a rich identity. This is deep. People say they want wealth, but their identity doesn't match it. They say, I want freedom, but they identify as someone who avoids responsibility, someone who quits when it gets hard, someone who blames circumstances. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Before wealth shows up in your bank account, it must show up in your behavior, your standards, your decisions. You must become the person who deserves the life you want. 12. They take full responsibility, no excuses. Here's a hard truth. Rich people don't blame the economy. They don't blame the government. They don't blame their past. They ask, what can I control? What can I improve? What can I learn? The moment you blame something outside yourself, you give up your power. Responsibility is heavy, but it's empowering, because when everything is your fault, everything is also your solution. 13. Most people never master a high-income skill. They want high income, but offer low value. Wealth is a reward for value creation. The marketplace doesn't pay you for effort. It pays you for skills, results, impact. Most people spend years mastering entertainment, but not 1 year mastering a skill that pays. Communication, sales, marketing, leadership, problem solving.
If you are replaceable, your income will be replaceable. 14. They quit too early, right before the breakthrough. This one hurts. Most people quit at the wrong moment, right when it starts getting hard. Results slow down. Doubt creeps in. They interpret resistance as failure, but resistance is a sign you're close. Every level has a test. Life asks, how bad do you want this? Will you keep going when nobody is clapping? Those who pass the test move forward. Those who quit repeat the same level forever. 15. Rich people build, others consume. This is the final divider. Most people consume content, opinions, products, trends. Rich people build businesses, skills, brands, assets. Consumption feels good now. Creation feels hard now, but pays forever. You can't consume your way to success. You must create your way out. Listen to me carefully now. Wealth is not luck. It's not magic. It's not reserved for a special few. It is a consequence of thinking differently, acting intentionally, choosing growth over comfort. Most people will never be rich because most people will never change. But you're still here. You're still listening, which means something inside you knows you were meant for more. This is your moment. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need to wait. Decide today to raise your standards, respect your potential, outwork your excuses, because one decision repeated daily can rewrite your entire future. Final motivational quote. The moment you stop living like everyone else is the moment your life begins to look like everyone else dreams. Stay hungry, stay disciplined, and never forget, your future is watching. Don't disappoint it.